I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have Matt deFouw, CEO and founder of Moxie. Matt, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Hello, nice to be here. Thank you very much, Ashton.
You're very welcome. Excited to dive into the world of gaming and gamification, more importantly, breaking out Web3 gamification into the broader ecosystem, into the real world. I feel like this is a huge market that is going to take the world by surprise. You know, people think blockchain and finance, but on the gaming side, like the market cap is just so much larger than what we see in cryptocurrencies today, and everyone's becoming gamers, even my grandparents. So I feel like it applies to all ages as well, and who doesn't want to have fun sometimes. So excited to dive into what you and your team are working at Moxie.io. Let's just break right into it from a high level, Matt, on what you and your team have built so far and what's the goals of Moxie in the blockchain world, and then we'll dive into all the details.
So Moxie is really interesting. Moxie is an ecosystem that brings Web 2 gaming into the new world. So Web 2 gaming, as you know, those are the games you would pay to play because they're so fun, engaging, they're telling the stories you want to hear. People go to any Comic-Con or any kind of video game industry event. These people, they are all in. They build costumes, they write books, they do everything. They build fan art, they build community content. So those Web 2 games have that stickiness. They have that real engagement that people are looking for. So what Moxie does is allow real rewards and real competition in the games that you love to play, that you'd be willing to pay to play. Right? When you're 14 years old and you're spending $80 on a game, you're all in at that point. So Web3 games, I find the differentiation is they're kind of, they call them play to earn or play and earn. I find they're just grind to earn. They're not really the caliber of the games that you see, like a Super Mario Kart or a Fortnite or CSGO. So if you take Moxie's ecosystem and you build that nice layer that a traditional publisher, they don't have to go to blockchain university, they don't have to hire a whole blockchain team, they don't have to understand the regulatory, they can just take Moxie Forge and they can put real rewards and real competition and build that level of engagement, and all the tournaments and everything just happen seamlessly in the Moxie ecosystem for them. They don't have to worry about regulatory on am I a utility or am I a security. They don't have to worry about AML, KYC on all their users. If you're a Moxie Club member, you are a fully KYC AML user. So we know who you are, and you're allowed to do those things that you say that you want to do. So it just takes all the heat off these publishers. After all you've been seeing NFTs and traditional publishers, they're a little bit gun shy. So that's why you'll see the ecosystem, we refer to everything as collectibles. Because there's a number of very bad words you're not allowed to use. So Moxie is making sure that we are providing the experience for the gamer, number one, and then the assurance for the publisher, number two, that they can embrace these technologies and really use them to empower the storytelling process and the overall experience for their customer.
Wow, very exciting, Matt. And yeah, that throws me back to my teenage days, spending a lot of money and time on video games and not really earning anything for it. A lot of my teenage hours and days and weeks went into playing games that were super fun at the time, but at the end of the day, you didn't really get anything. You know, you could sell your account for $40 or something for years of work, and the times are changing. And to be able to incorporate this into Web 2 games and the games that the developers and the game studios that have produced these games, they weren't focused on, what are the tokenomics or the cryptocurrency. They're focused on the gameplay, the user experience. How can people have a lot of fun and come back to the game because they actually enjoy it, not because they're grinding. And I've been through that grinding myself. I understand that. But I feel like where we're at with Web3 gaming right now is a lot of those big game studios, they're sort of gun shy, right? They don't want to take the reins themselves and try to incorporate NFTs or cryptocurrencies because they already have a great user base that are, millions of players in some of these AAA games, and they don't want to mess it up. So I feel like the Web3 part of gaming hasn't really gone full scale yet. We're still near the beginnings of it. How long have you and your team been working on this technology?
Since February of 2020.
Okay.
So that's the thing with Moxie too, is we're going to be launching fully baked. Most projects in the space are, imagine this, blue sky. If you buy this SAF, then maybe at some point there'll be this thing, but we can't tell you. So we're not doing that. We're running this as a traditional. Moxie is a single coin ecosystem. I think the end of these one coin, one game ecosystems, that's coming to an end very quickly. Moxie's going to usher that in. One coin across the entire ecosystem, one token. Moxie's a utility token that's recognized in US and Switzerland. So we have a US-based opinion letter and a Swiss-based opinion letter.
Okay.
So further making sure our publishers feel good after the whole next to a publisher, and you're out of the meeting in 5 seconds.
And what are the main styles of, there's so many different games that you could be incorporating this into. Where have you guys started in terms of the style of games and what games you're primarily incorporating this to at the very beginning?
So anything that has a really well-defined start and finish, like a round or a battle, so esports or fighting games or FPS or MOBAs, anything like Battle Royale kind of style games. Very, very easy to incorporate into those. So a racing, perfect. We have Sociable Soccer showing up here pretty quick, which is a FIFA branded soccer game. We have Super Squad, which is like a MOBA style Battle Royale. 2 teams come in and one wins and one loses. Those kind of things. It's harder for things like an RPG, a really traditional RPG. That's how do you have a real reward that is based on competition and those kind of, because you need to have player versus player on skill-based rewards. So those kind of games are for.
Okay, no, I like that. And yeah, once you get to the RPG, it sort of gets grinding, as you mentioned, and I've been there. But competitions are always fun when you get to verse, especially your friends. And I was looking through the Moxie platform about how, there's the games, and then obviously the competition is where sort of the gamification and the reward comes in. So can you talk about how have you set up the competitions and how do they work on the games?
So we have a whole bunch of ready to go for the publishers game modes, but it's complete sandbox. They can go as far as like multi-year tournaments. They can do ladders, they can do one-offs, they can do self-serve, they can have everything completely tailored on rails, or they could have it so it's completely wide open. So any kind of game can be solved inside that sandbox, and it's really accessible via a very simple traditional API for the developer.
That's good. I like create your own experience and cater to the users, especially per game as well. And that leads me to the next question, which I'm guessing is subjective as well for the game publishers, but how do the rewards work? Is it Moxie token, or you're getting NFTs, or a combination?
Moxie token primarily, it's the main token in this ecosystem. It's used across all games, like I said. So if you are coming in and you're playing a tournament, maybe you enter a 100-player tournament or a 10-player tournament, you have a 10 Moxie fee or a 100 Moxie fee, you will win. It's 90.1% goes back to the players. Some goes to Moxie of that 9%, and some goes to the publisher of that 9%. Entirely new revenue class for the publisher as well. If you watched the way that Web 2 gaming happened before, when Angry Birds came out, everyone's like, what, you're giving away for a game for free and it has these transaction fees? That's silly, nobody's doing that. But, and then you have Fortnite. Dollars on dances and skins. So there's new revenue models that will come out, and Moxie will usher in that new revenue model for these publishers.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting, and I think it really surprised people to see the amount of transactions people were making in game, and even these games where you're paying to get skins or outfits for your character. There's not really an ROI on that besides looking good, but to have a gamification where you're betting, but actually you win when if you're a good player, then you're actually getting more than you bet back. Then that changes the narrative completely.
Yeah, skill-based rewards it's the holy grail for gaming, because everybody tries to do it, and there's a whole bunch of quite kludgy ways to do it with PayPal and things like that on the internet right now. But with Moxie, everything is just totally seamless. That's why we've embraced blockchain technology for this, because it's the only way. How do you have someone who wants to play in British pounds versus someone who wants to play in US dollars versus, Hong Kong dollars? How do you make that work? This just bridges the gap.
Yeah. And I was looking into the launch, and I saw that it was sort of like a pre-launch phase right now. What does that exactly mean for the competition in the games?
Sorry, say that again.
For the pre-launch, what does that entail as opposed to the full launch for where Moxie's at with the competitions?
So pre-launch, we have a number of games you're going to be able to play, and you'll be playing on testnet for tokens on testnet, and the winners will receive real Moxie tokens at TGE. TGE slated for later on in March. Mm-hmm. So you're the first person to hear that out loud. Our Telegram group is going to be interesting when they see this.
Amazing. That's very exciting, and I love when the news breaks on our channel. Now, in terms of the launch and then expanding into, obviously having important, good games that you're partnered with is going to increase the user base, could be by millions overnight. So as you launch, what's the sort of the plan for blockchain-based games or other games what are you looking to target to expand rapidly?
Right now we are targeting traditional publishers. We have an entire team of people that are working directly with the publishing industry, because we have founders on the team like Nolan Bushnell and Larry Siegel and Stuart Bell and Tony Bickley and Mike Haller. These are the godfathers of the gaming industry, right? So they do have really deep connections, and really mainly our only problem is getting over the legal and regulatory hurdles to just make sure that these publishers realize that Moxie's taking that side of it on for them. Have to be a very good publisher. They have to build good games. These guys are big enough, guys like EA and stuff are big enough to be their own bank, but they aren't. They have a credit card processor. They're big enough to be their own credit card processor, but they don't. So Moxie's just another service provider for them that allows them to take all of that regulatory nightmare off their shoulders. They have one throat to choke. They talk to us. We talk to everybody else. And they just keep great games, and players just keep gaining rewards. One of the other really interesting things that we have in the Moxie ecosystem is what we call proof of play. So even if you're not entering into skill-based rewards, you can just play the game you love and receive payment every day in the form of Moxie token by just playing. So being a part of the active part of the community, we measure that in another sub-token inside the ecosystem called DYOR. You can't buy it, you can't sell it, you can't trade it, but you can just earn it, and you earn it by either referring people, taking part in master classes, playing games, being a part of our socials, all those things. Anything that's a real benefit to the overall Moxie ecosystem and every single Moxie Club member, we will make sure you get rewarded every day in terms of proof of play allocation, and that's paid in Moxie.
Wow, that's great to know as well. And I was thinking about on the skill-based side of it, from what I understood in terms of betting in games, the fact that it's
not betting, it's a skill-based reward.
Exactly. And so from what I understand, that because it's skill-based rewards, it's not just put money in and maybe something comes out like a slot machine or something. It's totally different.
Yeah. This is not betting. This is not gambling in any way, shape, or form. It is you saying, I can play this game and I'm good at it and I can win something for my skill. So this is we don't allow someone to come in and, like, let's say it was League of Legends Worlds. We wouldn't allow someone to bet on one team or the other. There's no betting inside the market. We are anti-gambling all the way, start to finish.
Amazing. Great to know, Matt. And where do you sort of see the greater gaming ecosystem, with from when I first heard about blockchain gaming and tokenization of NFTs in games like a year or two ago, I feel like there's a bit of a delay on at least the ones that were building from the ground up blockchain, because obviously it takes many years to create a good game. And the ones that were the Web 2 games, they've been skittish about it as well. Do you think there's going to be a turning point where more of these games partner with Moxie, or some big thing happens in the gaming industry where all of a sudden all of these huge games that have millions of players fully embrace and encourage people to start using gamification and tokenization inside of the games?
Absolutely, that is an inevitability. It's like thinking about, remember GoldenEye for the N64? It was the last really great FPS couch-based game where you sit with your friends and everyone's got a controller with a cord and you're playing. Fun. Can you imagine an FPS now that wasn't online?
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not something that you could even imagine, let alone play. So that's going to be the next step. Moxie enables games to get to that next phase of evolution in terms of real rewards, real competition, real fun, making sure these games are really engaging. And publishers just get to keep storytelling and building rewarding experiences, and they don't have to worry about this whole thing. Just like I was saying before, you don't want to become a credit card processing company so they can take payment. They need payment to survive, but they don't need to do that. They just want to focus on games. So Moxie will handle that for them in every way, shape, or form. And the days of single token, single game, I think those are dead. I don't see how that would be. Can you imagine doing all the compliance and legal? Like, we've spent years with some of the best lawyers in the industry here and in Europe, and I can't imagine going through that process every time you want to launch a game. And what do you do when the life cycle of that game's over? You take it, and now we're going to do this burn mint program for some new game token it's no. Single token. It's all the games, one token. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I like that approach, Matt. And with a lot of these games, more so in the newer blockchain games or indie gamers, I feel like they have, unless they've really hit it big, it's hard when a game launches to find ways to keep retention of the players or keep them interested. And now I feel like Moxie would be a great solution for people to encourage them to continue to play.
That's what proof of play is all about. We reward you just for playing, and hey, you can take winnings from one game and go straight into the next game completely seamless. Because of the way that Moxie integrates with games, there's no alt tabbing out, there's no signing transactions, there's none of that. This is gamer focused, gamer psychology focused. This is instant reward. There's no weights, there's no crazy, you don't have to learn a whole bunch of stuff. You take a balance from your core Moxie wallet, you put it into your play and earn wallet, and you just go. Your reward wallet follows you through the games, and Moxie's built right in the UI and UX of your favorite games. So it's not something secondary that you have to go out, figure it out, get to another application, go to a website, log in. It's just like signing in with your Epic or Steam account or Xbox Live account. You can link your account with Moxie, and then after that, your Moxie club balance follows you throughout all the games.
Amazing, yeah, and that's a big issue, I think, with trying to extract the value from one game and move to another without having to go through all these weird intermediaries and gray markets. It needs to be solved easily. So thank you for that, Matt. I appreciate that.
Yeah. You imagine telling someone, just don't worry about it. Just go to Unicorn, go to MetaMask, go to all these places, and do all these things, and it's okay. It'll only take you 2 weeks to learn about it. Watch about 200 hours of YouTube videos, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I know. Especially now that gaming is just expanding out to more age groups, we need to make it as easy as possible to get that value out of the game and into the one that you want to play and move it around.
Yeah, it's all about frictionless with Moxie. We try to make everything about the whole experience frictionless. Unfortunately, KYC is with us. That's not going away. So about the most friction you're going to find is when you first sign up for Moxie Club and you want to get verified. You do have to go through that KYC process. But as soon as you're through that, it's just frictionless. You just you log your favorite game, link your Moxie account, username and password, usually email address. It sends you a code to your email, put that in. Now your game's linked, just like you linked your Epic or Steam account to that game. And then after that, you click the events and join the event you want, pay the fee in Moxie, and away you go. It just happens.
Amazing. And so right now with the pre-launch phase, people can already start registering and then start looking at some of the events, and then leading up to about a month away or so, as you mentioned, about like the main launch. How can people sort of get prepared and learn more about the platform in anticipation of the main launch?
You can sign up at club.moxie.io, get your account all good to go, get yourself verified, everything else. You can check us out on moxie.io, the website. And then also take a look at our Battle of the Influencers event that's going to be coming up. That's coming up in the summer. We've got Steve Aoki and Hannah Stocking and a bunch of big names that are going to be playing big games on the Moxie platform. Will be launched on Twitch and YouTube and all that good stuff. So it'll be showcasing to publishers as well as gamers. Mm-hmm. This is a fun place to be. This is where you want to be.
Amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to the launch. Thank you so much for breaking the announcement here. And I will put the links to the club for Moxie and the platform in the description box below as well. All the best with the launch moving forward and into the summer, and just hopefully making an impact on just the Web3 gaming ecosystem and moving Web2 gaming into Web3. So thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate it, and let's follow up in the near future.
I look forward to it, Ashton. Thanks very much, my friend.